Have you ever had that gut feeling that something isn't right? The kind that sends chills down your spine and makes your heart pound for no apparent reason? My name is Thomas Miller. I'm 42 years old, and I work as a financial analyst for a multinational company in Dallas, Texas. I've been married to my wife, Caroline, or Carol as she prefers, for 20 years. On the surface, we were the perfect family. 2 amazing kids, a beautiful home in the suburbs, and a marriage that seemed unshakable. It all began with the little things. Carol started dressing up more for her so-called girls' nights out. At first, I thought it was harmless. After all, everyone needs some time to unwind. But then the excuses started piling up. Late-night meetings, last-minute work dinners, and mysterious, urgent errands. Something about it didn't sit right with me. One night she came home particularly late, her hair slightly disheveled, and her makeup smudged. When I asked her how the evening went, she hesitated before offering a vague response. That's when the first seeds of doubt were planted in my mind. Could my wife, the woman I had loved and trusted for 2 decades, be hiding something from me? The moment that truly shifted everything was her birthday party. I had spent weeks planning the perfect evening. A surprise dinner with friends and family, her favorite wine, and a gorgeous gift she'd been eyeing for months. Yet, despite all my efforts, her attention wasn't on me or the celebration. Instead, it was on Marcus, a coworker of hers who seemed to have an uncanny ability to monopolize her focus. He was charming, confident, and far too comfortable in her presence. Throughout the evening, I noticed how her laughter came a little too easily when he joked, and how her eyes lingered on him just a little too long. After that night, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. So I decided to do what any man in my position would. I hired a private investigator. It was a tough decision, but I needed the truth, no matter how painful it might be. Within days, the investigator delivered a folder full of evidence that shattered my world. Photos of Carol entering a hotel with Marcus, explicit text messages, and even video footage of them holding hands at work. My wife, the woman I had shared 2 decades of my life with, was having an affair. I spent the next few days in a haze, replaying every moment of our marriage in my mind. Finally, I decided to confront her. One evening, during dinner at home, I calmly laid out the evidence on the table and asked her point blank, "Carol, is there something you want to tell me?" At first, she denied everything. "Thomas, you're imagining things," she said with a nervous laugh. But as I slid the photos across the table, her expression changed. "It's not what it looks like," she stammered. "It was just a mistake." But I wasn't buying it. "A mistake? Mistakes don't last for months, Carol." I knew I couldn't let her betrayal go unanswered, but I also knew that acting impulsively would only make things worse. So, I took my time, carefully planning my next steps. First, I met with my attorney to protect my assets. I moved money into separate accounts, transferred property into my brother's name, and ensured that Carol would have no claim to my investments. Next, I canceled all joint credit cards and froze our shared bank accounts. By the time I was done, she wouldn't have a leg to stand on financially. When the day finally came, I served her with divorce papers. Carol was stunned. "You can't be serious," she said, tears streaming down her face. But I was deadly serious. "You broke your vows, Carol," I replied, "and now you'll face the consequences." To ensure Marcus felt the weight of his actions, I sent the evidence of their affair to his wife. She was devastated, but also furious. Within weeks, Marcus was divorced, fired from his job, and living in a tiny apartment. As for Carol, she moved into a small rental downtown, struggling to make ends meet. The house we once shared was sold, and I used the proceeds to buy a beachfront property in South Carolina, a fresh start for a new chapter in my life. Looking back, I can't say the experience didn't leave scars. Betrayal cuts deep, and the pain doesn't vanish overnight. But it also taught me something invaluable: resilience. No matter how dark things may seem, there's always a way to rise above it. Today, I'm happier than I've ever been. I've rebuilt my life, surrounded myself with positivity, and even found love again. And while I'll never forget the lessons I learned from my marriage to Carol, I know one thing for sure. The best revenge is living well. If you enjoyed this longer story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you'll never miss another video. Pick one of the suggested videos on screen and keep watching for more gripping tales. Thanks for your support, and I'll see you next time.